Hold the line. Stay with me. Brothers, what we do in life echoes in eternity.
Strengthen on. Strengthen on.
At my signal, unleash hell.
Hold the
Woo!
line.
I don't know
Stay
about you
with
guys.
me.
I am hyped
Brothers.
for 2026. Woo, bring it. Inject that into my veins. That is sick. That is sick. Give the president's team some major props for their social media presence. It's unfreaking believable. I love it. I love it. I love it all so much. Anyways, what's going on, guys? Happy freaking New Year's. I am on the East Coast, so it is getting very close for me, an hour and a half away. I will try to make it to there. I think I will. I got lots going on tonight, lots to talk about. And being that it's New Year's Eve, I hope you guys join in. There's plenty. I mean, jump in the chat. We'll open up the lines later if anybody wants to call in, because we're going to revisit 2025, which was just an absolutely incredible year. I spent a lot of time gathering together what all happened in 2025, and it's a lot. It took me a lot of time, and I know I'm going to have missed some things because there's so much. So we're going to have to revisit. We got to just record it well so all the doomers and the black pillars can look at what actually happened in 2025 and just be like, holy smokes, we've never seen anything like this before. And I believe it is setting up 2026 to be just a banner year, a year that's kind of more of what we've been hoping for. We had to get 2025 out of the way first. So going into it, I have a lot of thoughts on 2026. Been praying into it. I believe I have some insights on what I think is coming in 2026. So going to share that tonight, go through it, show I did some fun stuff with AI, projecting 2026 with all the data and momentum coming in so far of 2025. So I'm telling you guys, it's everything looks really exciting for 2026. It really does. And today, today of all places, for those of us in the market stuff, looking for the market fraud, DJT today, Trump's company dropped a bomb, a nuclear bomb on the short sellers in a token, a digitized token to be assigned to all the shareholders. It's going to have to be delivered. This could break the shorts. It's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out. It's been tried with other companies before. They messed around, but good luck. Good luck doing that with Donald Trump's company. So basically it's a dividend. So man, that happened on the last day of 2025. So guys, I'm telling you, with all that we're seeing, it is lining up for justice, fraud, breakthrough, all just prosperity. 2026, I think, is going to be just an incredible year. So I cannot wait to get there. But before I get started tonight, guys, if you don't mind, hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that follow if you don't mind. If you're on X, hit that repost. Send this out to all your friends who have no idea who I am, and they might actually like it. Those who watch the show will tell you, this is the place. This is the place where you get the news ahead of time. It just so happens that we happen to do it a lot here. We call it a lot, way ahead of time here. And we're seeing that even more as things keep unwinding. So check that out. Send it out to your friends. But again, hit that like, hit that subscribe if you don't mind. Let's say hey to the peeps in the Chizat. What's going on, Cassink? Happy New Year, sir. Donna's here. Happy New Year, Donna. Alice, Danny Gigal, Zach Butters, what's up? William Kivamaki, Happy New Year. Linda Telly, Happy New Year to you. Lochtefeld over on Rumble, what's up? Lex, Happy New Year's to you as well. Love it. Love it. Guys, this is my third Happy New Year's show. Can you believe it? It's been 3 years already of broadcasting. So I don't know who's going to be here tonight. It's people are out partying. People are watching the ball fall. That's fine. That's fine. They can do that. You guys can watch me later. It won't hurt my feelings if you got better things to do. But if you want to hang out, have a good time. I have my Basil Hayden tonight. I'm sipping classy tonight, folks, to start 2026. But all right, well, let's just get right into it, shall we? So I wanted to start by recapping 2025, but first I wanted to share this because I think this is an important thing to keep in mind. Brendan Dilley posted this, and I just think it's so apt and timely. And he said, "You prayed for God to save your nation. He saved it. And then you responded by complaining it wasn't saved the way you would have saved it." It says you don't deserve saving. No, I don't necessarily agree with that point because guess what? None of us deserve saving. That's the gospel right there, and God did it anyways. But what's up, Linda Gay? How are you? Here's the point, is that the complaining has been going on so much, especially the last couple months. And it's out of hand. It's got no substance to it. It's just people who want things a specific way and aren't getting it. Whether it's the neocon types, the establishment types, the libertarian types, or even those in MAGA who were like crying for everything to happen in the first 6 months, as if it's possible for Trump to come in as a king and completely fix our nation in 6 months to a year. It's just not happening. We're a place of systems. And what we're going to see here in a second as I show it is that what Trump did is beyond what I think anybody could have predicted, despite the fact some things haven't happened that people wanted. But here's part of the point too, is as we keep going, more and more is being revealed of how bad things really were. And that's really important to remember, okay? Just extremely important to remember that there's more to do than most people realized. And when you get in and there's a system and there's a way to do things in a republic, which is ruled by law, you have to understand there's processes. And as processes go on and there's more and more that keeps getting uncovered, well, that's more and more processes to deal with as well. So it takes time. And what we've pulled off is just, it's nothing short of a miracle. 2025 was a miracle. What's up, Nick Majors? How you doing, brother? Happy New Year to you, sir. So, all right, here's a little report we put together. And we had to do this to remind everybody what happened this last year. As I go through this, it's beyond what any president's ever done in their first year. And it's not particularly close. And I just hope it renews and reminds you of how blessed we are to be where we're at. Because we're dealing with decades of corruption, fraud, abuse of the American people, gaslighting, destruction of our institutions, destruction of our republic and our democracy, the points of our republic that are democratic, just destruction. And that takes a while to unwind. The assault on our culture, the traditional values, the Christian culture, just been non-freaking stop. And so it's important to remember what we've actually seen done. What's up, Nels? Good evening to you, sir. How are you? All right, so let's just look at foreign policy to look at. Okay, so brokered a ceasefire in the Israel-Hamas conflict, freeing hostages and kickstarting Gaza rebuilds, locked in peace deals with India, Pakistan, Rwanda, DRC, that's Congo, Armenia, Azerbaijan, Thailand, Cambodia, charted Syria's stability pathway, wiped out Iran's nuclear program with pinpoint strikes, halting proliferation. Not only that, ended an all-out war between Iran and Israel that everybody who is even a little bit skeptical of Trump projected and prophesied that was going to turn into a full-scale war with Iran. Trump was owned by Israel. This is it. Trump's showing us who he is. He is going to get us into the Middle East. Here we go again. It's George Bush all over again. It's Obama all over again. And what did Trump do? Strike, no casualties, get out, war over. That's all America did. Massively brilliant, incredibly strategically just on top of it, just so smart, played everybody. And yet we still have all those people out there who are completely wrong, and none of them admit they're wrong. Whether it's Dave Smith or Ian Carroll or Candace Owens or people, whatever. There's so many of them. We're not going to spend much time on the influencers tonight. I know a lot of you are happy about that. But the point is how brilliant this was and how it's so easy to forget it, because so much has happened. You know, it's been all out assault on media, policy, what Trump's been accomplishing, how he takes over the narratives. Just, it's so much all the time. It's easy to forget this all happened in less than a year. Forced NATO allies to commit to 5% GDP on defense spending, saving us a ton of money. Ditched the Paris Accord and WHO, redirecting billions back home. Sealed trade pacts with EU, UK, China, Japan, Australia, Pakistan, Argentina, and Indonesia. Yeah, that's only most of the biggest countries in the world and most important countries in the world economically. Signed minerals deal with Ukraine to keep jobs stateside. Hammered terrorists with strikes on Houthis, disrupting shipping. ISIS and Syria, Iraq, Al-Shabaab, Somalia, Islamic State, Nigeria, shielding Christians, Venezuelan narco thugs. All of it done with no boots on the ground. No full-on commitment to real war. You know, Trump's not a pacifist. Nobody ever said he was. But he is not someone who wants to get involved in other people's wars or to start things that we can't get out of for no reason. This is what I want in a president. Show of strength. Make your points when needed to be done. Take out bad guys when necessary without committing our troops and getting anybody in harm's way for no good reason. This is exactly what it's supposed to be. Exactly what it should be all along. The reason we have a military, to keep our interests at bay and keep our defenses up and show strength so nobody messes with us, but not to get in quagmires, not to waste trillions of dollars and thousands of American lives. And Trump is doing exactly that. Brought home 50 U.S. hostages without ransoms from Hamas. Whoops. There's my mouse, guys. Still hoping 2026 will be the year of the new PC. That's one thing too. You guys help me pray that one in. Revive travel bans on risky foreigners for safety. Not just that, like risky countries, period. Restarted Ukraine aid on tight terms, no blade checks, which is exactly true. We're not, listen, I know the Senate and the Congress just passed in the defense spending bill some money for Ukraine, which is insane, but it was unvetoable. Okay. They voted too much. So it was 77 in the Senate. So Trump can't veto it. So it's not on him. All right. And it was like, I think it was less than $1 billion, which is a lot of money, but not to our government. Okay. It's like 800 million versus the hundreds of billions we'd been sending over there. So the Senate is still sending money. It's a little bit less, but everything Trump has allowed them to receive is now being, It's in the form of weapons that NATO is paying us for. It's not just giving them aid anymore. So that all stopped, and then pivoted to Western Hemisphere dominance via 2025 national security strategy. What's going on in Venezuela? The Monroe Doctrine back in order. That's just a glimpse of the foreign policy that happened in the last year. What other president's ever done that in 1 year? This much foreign policy. Okay, we're talking economic, developmental deals, ending wars, staying aggressive without getting us into a war. It's probably the best single year, not single event, because some people would be like Reagan ending the Cold War, stuff like that. Yeah. So nothing on that level, but as a totality of how much happened, probably the best single year of foreign policy any president has ever had in history. Full stop. I defy anybody to come up with a better year. I'm pretty good at American history. I know my stuff pretty well. There might be some obscure year I don't know about, but that, based on everything I know from my history, that's the single best year of foreign policy a president's ever had. But we'll just start there. Let's take a sip. Let's say hey to some peeps in here. Just Mike, what's up, buddy? David's in the house. What's up, man? Nell said had a good year. Then the mother-in-law died. Oh my God, I'm sorry. Sorry for that, Nels. I didn't know about your dachshund too. That's terrible. So sorry. Shogun, forecast for the Niners versus Seahawks game this weekend. Oh, brother. Listen, you want to come on and talk about that? We'll break it down. I'm not at 2026 yet, okay? We have to go through 2025 first to paint the picture of 2026. All right, just so you know. So, okay, let's look at what he did more domestically. Signed 225 executive orders, more in 1 year than a first term, outpacing every president except FDR. Established DOGE to gut the bureaucracy, fired 290,000 federal workers, forced in-person work, which got more of them to quit. 290,000 federal workers. I saw an estimate that saves us $50 billion a year. An estimate. I don't know if that's true, but that's a lot of cash and lots less government workers, which, we need some government workers. We definitely didn't know what we had, especially finding out that Biden, almost all of his job numbers came from government jobs and foreigners, which is insane. So Trump has completely changed all that. Yes, DOGE is no longer centralized. It's now a part of all the different departments. So DOGE has branched out. The employees of DOGE have spread out. DOGE, because this is to the people who are negative about DOGE. Oh, he didn't do anything. No, it's done a crap ton of a lot. And where it hasn't, because of the Senate, gotten everything, every bit of money pulled back, it has exposed a whole lot of the fraud and corruption. And now Trump has the receipts on everything. And remember, he's still got more than 3 years left, guys. Still got more than 3 years left. Tweak tariffs to protect jobs and security, slapping duties on China, opioids, southern border chaos, northern drug flows, copper imports, timber. Not just that, all the doomsayers of tariffs, none of it's come to pass. None of the dooming about tariffs has happened. Unleash law enforcement on criminals, ending catch and release, restoring remain in Mexico, designating cartels as terrorists. Yeah, and the border is completely closed. In fact, they haven't released a single illegal immigrant into the country since, I think, April. That, my friends, is 8 months of zero illegal immigration. That's insane. We've never seen that before. Never seen that before. Declared an energy emergency, reviving oil and gas permits 44%, ditched green mandates. Pretty much the entire Green New Deal is gone. Beautiful. We've only had a year of that yet. And how about your gas prices, folks? Guess what I paid the other day? You know what I was paying when Biden was president? I was paying about $3.20, and I think it got as low as maybe $2.89 at one point under Biden here in North Carolina. And you know what I paid 2 days ago at the pump? $2.29. That's 60 cents lower than the high, than Biden's low. 60 cents. Do the math. 60 cents out of that's 25, 30% lower. I'm telling you guys, that's massive in 1 year. Not even a full year. Slashed 180 billion in regulations, freeing families from burdens, restored airspace control. The task force, extended the Christmas holiday, axed DII programs, defined sex biologically, bans trans in the military, halted kids' gender procedures, froze hiring, reclassified under Schedule F for accountability. That's federal hiring. Prioritized AI with data sets and research freedom, pulled from the WHO, UN funds, declassified JFK, MLK, RFK files, banned paper straws. Love that one. Expanded IVF access, protected 2A at Creative Faith Office, no vax mandates in schools. Massive, guys. And that's just a little bit. I didn't touch on every single executive order he passed. I mean, that would have taken all night to go through. This is just a taste of year one. Now, I know a lot of people are going to be like, well, those are executive orders. They can be undone the second he's out. Well, that's true. If Congress doesn't do their job and codify these, that's absolutely true. They can be undone. But, as a president who comes in, even a Democratic president, if they come in and they start doing a bunch of executive orders that make life more expensive, make life do stuff that's extremely unpopular, like allow transition surgeries back on children. If they do stuff like that, if Congress doesn't codify these things, well, the people turn on them real quick. And the only reason we got this far, okay, as bad as things got, it's because they were sneaky. Always sneaky, playing the long game. Because the direction they were taking us as America was so antithetical to our American ideals, so antithetical to our American sense of liberty, to our freedom, to our values. It was so against that the only way to make it happen was to make us the frogs in boiling water. They slow killed us. They slowly chipped away at everything. They set up false flags to get us to agree to stuff. Patriot Act, trying to take away 2A, giving up our freedoms. They convinced us over years and years and years that traditional values were nonsensical. Get with the now, folks. Pushing the propaganda on us to make us feel like we're the weirdos if we think it's wrong to mutilate a child who doesn't know what their identity is. They made us, over time, a lot of us, not all of us, think we were the crazies. That takes time. Now that the ship's been righted and Trump's undone a lot of that, it's going to be very difficult to roll this back because Trump woke us all up. It was like being under a spell. Not all of us. I don't mean you guys, but I mean America in general. It was like being under this slow rolling socialist spell. The economics are a part that can be changed quickly because people will always vote for free stuff. It's always going to be popular to go against the successful because there's always going to be losers who don't believe they can do it. And so they want to punish those who can. They always want to get free things. So that's possible. But the value side of it, the culture side of it, that's much harder and takes much longer to unravel. And so a lot of these executive orders, it will take time to undo them. They won't be able to be undone immediately. And I don't think it'll happen on our watch. Not anytime soon. Definitely not if Vance gets in. We all know that. But I'm talking about even if by some miracle, which isn't going to happen, some dark demonic miracle they get a Democrat back in 2028. Let's see what's going on in the chat. David's free. Shogun, let's do it. DI needs at least make a debut on my Steam. I'll send out the number here in a little bit, guys. What to do? The one? What's up? Don't understand how people can expect Trump to turn around Biden's mess unless he. Yeah, it's not just Biden mess. It's Biden's, Obama's, Clinton's, Carter's, a little bit of Reagan. Yeah, he did leave us with some messes. Nixon, Eisenhower. I mean, come on. I mean, Lyndon B. Johnson, Woodrow Wilson's mess, Roosevelt's mess. I mean, we got a lot of messes we're cleaning up. It's gone back a very long time. Linda says California gas is over $2 a gallon just in taxes. Yeah, I know. California is stupid. And Newsom's doing even more on that. Okay, let's look at legislation. Because there wasn't a lot of legislation passed. In fact, Congress has done their job less this last year than any other time in history. I will tell you why that's not as big a deal as a lot of people have been making it. One of the reasons, and this was very smart of Trump, because when he had his mass political capital, when he first came in, when everybody was behind him to make a difference, Trump rolled up his sleeves and bullied Congress into passing one of the largest bills in history, as he aptly dubbed it, the One Big Beautiful Bill. The One Big Beautiful Bill ends up being one of the biggest pieces of legislation ever passed. It was at like 10 bills in one, maybe even 20. So you could bump up Congress's scorecard a little bit for that. But more importantly, it put into effect and gave him free reign to do a lot of the things he made promises about for his term, his entire term, especially on the economic front. He codified his taxes, his tax cuts from 2017 permanently. They would have expired this year. All of us would have been paying a lot more taxes. Yes, even the middle class, which they lie to you about and say Trump only cut taxes for the rich. Yeah. Ha. Wait till you with families, if they hadn't passed this, wait till your child tax credit went back down to $1,000 a kid instead of $2,200 a kid. Yeah. If you're a family like myself with 6 kids, that's an extra $6,000 a year in taxes just right there. And that doesn't include the lower deductions, the lower income brackets, all that. So we all would have been spending a lot more in taxes. And Trump codified that. He did the taxes on tips, overtime, Social Security benefits. That's all for people who voted for him. He brought on new. Great for them. Some of those only last for 4 years, but you know what? 4 years is a long time. It's not a super long time, but 4 years can help you really move ahead. If you're paying, he got up to $25,000 on overtime deductible. I mean, that's a lot less overtime pay, or a lot less overtime taxes. Boosting take-home pay up to $13,300 for families. That'll happen this year. We'll see that in 2026. Seniors get the extra $6,000 deduction, up to $12,000 joint. Phase for high earners, small biz deduction to 23%. Businesses can cut off way more taxes. Standard deduction permanently doubled. That's a lot of money saved for the regular American. And then the Trump accounts with the seed for every born child, auto loan interest deductions, work requirements for Medicaid. In this tax cut bill, guys, he also got welfare reform passed again, which was originally passed by Bill Clinton, the Democrat, and undone by Obama, the socialist in chief. Trump got it back in. It's just genius. It's absolutely genius. Slash $1 trillion from Medicaid over a decade. That's not true. Slash from going to illegals and people without meeting work requirements. That's the true story there. This is Grok helped me compile this, so even Grok had to slip that one in there. Funded corporate cuts, phased in smartly, immediate tax wins retro to 2025. health tweaks, and expected 100 to 150 billion in refunds 2026, 1 to 2,000 per household. I can tell you that if you go on and do one of those tax calculators for the year, you can do that now just based on your estimate of what you'll make. Look at it and see what the difference is between this year, your projection this year, and last year. I can tell you with mine, it's almost $4,000 difference. That's massive. And I'm middle class, like middle class. So I'm not upper middle class. I'm middle class with 6 kids. And that's a big difference. It helps a lot. Signed Lake and Riley Act to detain criminal aliens, which was the first thing he did. Signed Genius Act, helps with AI. Halt Fentanyl Act, take it down to crush drugs and exploitations. Extended Alaska Native Vietnam veterans land allotments. Implemented U.S.-Israeli agricultural trade agreement. Passed $9 billion rescissions package to axe waste. That also defunded NPR, PBS, USAID. Made paid family leave permanent for some federal workers. Expanded parental leave for federal workers. Devolved education powers to the states. That's actually a really big deal. And then helped women's sports. Huge stuff, guys. Absolutely huge stuff. And that's with the very little bit that Congress did this past year. Now, there's still major legislation we want to see passed, obviously. Shoring up our elections is probably number one. And there's other things we want to see done, of course. But going back to this, the One Big Beautiful Bill, just this alone, we're going to see a massive expansion in our economy in the next year. In fact, we're already seeing it a little bit. Here's a little clip I wanted to play to give some love to Peter St. Ong about Trump's impact on the economy. Oops. Let me do this right here, guys. Sorry.
With mere hours remaining in 2025, it is time to recap for those just tuning in. The year kicked off in fine style with Trump regaining the White House, saving us from 4 very long years of the cackles. On day one, he slammed shut the border that Sleepy Joe claimed could only happen with mass amnesty. Elon's Doge rampaged across a bloated Washington, targeting the $1 trillion plus of waste and fraud that's putting our children into debt slavery, and that apparently was funding quality clearing centers. Alas, our adventurers face sabotage by rhinos in Congress who turned decades of small government pledges into hundreds of billions in fresh theft. Still, the economy had a strong year, with growth in the final 6 months hitting 4% despite tariffs, deportations, and federal layoffs legacy media told us would cause a depression. Unemployment remained a pleasing 4.5% despite AI Armageddon. Millions of Americans re-entered the workforce, filling jobs vacated by illegals at twice the pay. Turns out Americans will do those jobs, just not for peanuts. In fact, jobs on the year were up nearly 2 million for Americans, and they slid almost 2 million for foreigners, which our lying media framed as a, quote, paralyzed job market. Alas, inflation did not do as well, dropping from Biden's nosebleed level, but still stuck at 3%, because Congress is addicted to spending trillions we don't have, in fact, 38 trillions, which comes to nearly $500,000 of national debt for a family of 4, the second mortgage you did not want. Wars were a mixed bag, unsurprising considering America's been at war all but 20 years out of 249. Still, Trump ended more wars than he started, which counts as a win in Washington. The big story for 25 was the exposure of massive corruption in government, starting with Doge exposing tens of billions in fraud, both in government, like USAID, and among the tens of thousands of so-called NGOs, non-government organizations, that pillage your tax dollars, then use them to lobby for left-wing policies, left-wing politicians, and, of course, lobbying for even more taxpayer funds. To the point nearly the entire institutional left is your tax dollars at work, from Somali leering centers to BLM riots. Of course, it goes deeper than money once Trump went to proper war with the federal bureaucracy, including for the first time in history, trying to fire a member of the Federal Reserve. This is now queued up a Supreme Court decision expected next June on a 1935 case called Humphrey's Executor that unconstitutionally shields deep state bureaucrats from the voters. If that gets overturned, Trump and any future president can finally restore voter control of the bureaucratic overlords FDR used to turn us from citizen to subject. Finally, and maybe most important, free speech. Elon saved free speech with his offhand Twitter buy, then Trump cemented it with his win. That's pulled us back from the abyss. 100 million Americans now see the corruption. This is destroying legacy media that was the intellectual bodyguard of the progressive takeover. We're seeing the fruits in young people going based even before they finish 12 years of government indoctrination or education. It's enough to give you hope. So as next brought to you by I Trust.
So you guys get the gist. Massive success first year. It's only going to continue. And I'm not done yet. I'm not done. There's still more to go through. D6 says he's saving about $2,500 on his tax return based on projections so far. That's a huge difference. $2,500. That's a huge difference. That's $200 a month on average. That can change a lot of people. That can help a lot of people. Okay. Don't know how much you made, but depends on, but as a percentage, that helps. That absolutely helps. We have somebody fun in the chat. That's all right. Fro Girl, what's going on? Good to see you. Thanks for hitting that like button, Dave. Appreciate it. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. Let's keep going because there's more. There's more. All right, let's go into this. Let's look at what the Justice Department's been doing. All right, everybody's hating on Pam Bondi and Cash, but meanwhile, they've been doing a lot of good stuff. And I get it. Not everything we want to see, but sometimes this stuff matters to the people it helps. Yeah, we haven't seen everybody go down for Epstein. I get it. We haven't seen everybody go down for Crossfire Hurricane or Russia, or the 2020 election. We haven't seen it. I get it. I want it too. I really want that. I really do. But this stuff matters. Tell it they don't matter to the 1,500 J6ers who were pardoned. The pro-lifers who were jailed just for protesting at Planned Parenthood. Ross Ulbricht, the guy that all the libertarians wanted so badly to be free, Trump freedom, and barely got any credit for it. Even though, you guys know how I feel about the libertarians. Paused FCPA white-collar pursuits during reviews, dropped ally chase critics. This is where Grok's being critical. That's fine. I don't look at it as a bad thing. Some of these white collar pursuits, they were political, completely political by the Democrats going after people. They weren't cleaning up crime on the streets. They were going after people who were actually doing good stuff. Some of them conservatives, some of them Christians. Not all of them, but hey, some of it. Deported 600K though. Nabbed 100,000 alien gangs for safer streets. 2.5 million gone. Thanks to the self-deportations as well. Tagged cartels as terrorists. Jacked prison call prices. Revived death penalty. Hit campus anti-Semitism. Defunded Planned Parenthood. Curbed reproductive rights per Project 2025. Overhauled hiring. Rattled U.S. attorneys' relations. And then let's just look at this, what the Department of Justice has been accomplishing. The U.S. is now on pace for the largest one-year drop in murders the nation has ever seen. According to analysis by crime stats expert Jeff Asher, crime is down in every major category. Look at this. Motor vehicle theft down 23%. Murder down 20% in a year. Robbery 18%. Burglary 15%. Property crime 12%. Violent crime 10%. Theft 9%. Rape almost 9%. Aggravated assault 7.5%. That's huge, guys. Huge. How? I mean, listen. Just ask the question real quick. How on earth is it possible to get murder down 20% in a year, unless the previous administration was simply turning a head to it, allowing it to happen. 20% is a lot. It's a lot. Vehicle theft down 23%. Huge. All it took was somebody coming in and actually enforcing our laws, actually deporting people who don't belong here. And that's not all this, but it's a lot of it. But also going into the ganglands, after actually showing strength. And basically before, during the Biden years, it was like a message was sent out to criminals in America. Hey, you guys get free reign, do whatever you want. We're gonna be focusing over here on making sure, you know, trans people are in sports. Bongino shared these crazy stats from the FBI as he gets ready to leave. Over 50,000 arrests this last year. 30,000 of them violent crime arrests, nearly double the number from 2024. 1,800 gangs and criminal enterprises disrupted, increase of 210%. 2,000 plus kilos of fentanyl seized, up 31%, enough to kill 130 million Americans. Nihilistic violent extremism arrests up 490%. Over 6,000 child victims located. That's massive. And then the historic drop in the U.S. murder rate. You know, you can criticize Kash Patel all you want because you're not seeing the arrests you want. But this stuff matters to real victims. I know we all want to see certain people get busted. We all want to see certain aspects of our government completely fixed. And those are good things. Those are righteous things to want. But just because we're not getting what we want doesn't mean things aren't happening. And I would argue, as much as I'd love to see Obama behind bars, Clinton behind bars, Adam Schiff behind bars, as much as I'd like to see any of that, those, now that they're out of power, aren't affecting me too much. But there's literally hundreds of thousands of people today who are safer than they were a year ago. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of victims that are no longer being victimized or that aren't going to be victimized in the first place. So just remember that when you're being hyper critical. And Kash kind of gives us an idea of what they were thinking. He said the FBI elevated violent crime as a top investigative priority. Wonder why they did that. Do you think maybe they knew something we don't? Think about all the illegals that came in under Biden. How many of those were sleeper cells? How many of those were people who could have been activated at any time? How many of those were just meant to terrorize American citizens? If you're a leader and you come in and you are in charge of a nation of 300 plus million people, and you have a choice because you have limited resources, and your choice is, I can go full bore and go get some of my enemies and the enemies of the people and get a lot of applause and, you know, make some changes for the future, good changes for sure. Or I can make sure that before I do any of that, I make sure my people are safe on the streets. I make sure my nation is stabilized first. I make sure that sleeper cells are disbanded or rooted out. I make sure that law and order is back on track. And then once things are settled, once people are safe in their daily lives again, then, and that makes more sense to me, honestly, that's the time to then go after the big dogs. And all the while, you can have some people working on that, so to make sure it sticks when they finally do it. So just a thought, But remember, going back to this, we all prayed for God to save our nation. He did save it. So let's not respond by complaining it wasn't saved the way we would have saved it. Trump and his people know so much more what's going on than what we do. And they have a strategy that's probably much better because of their extra knowledge than anything we can come up with. So just remember that when we're being hypercritical, especially of the DOJ. And we have this post from the DOJ. Instead of keeping Americans safe, the Biden DOJ weaponized its power against political opponents, conservatives, parents, pro-lifers, Christians, most of all President Trump. When Trump returned to office, he inherited a justice system in chaos, criminals emboldened, victims ignored, and the law weaponized for politics. Listen to this. When he took office, he inherited a justice system in chaos. Maybe the first year was just about returning order to the justice system. Maybe that's what Pam Bondi's been focused on. Maybe that's what Kash Patel's been focused on. I don't know. Just something to think about. He charged his DOJ with restoring integrity, accountability, and equal justice under the law. Here's 10 wins they post. Exposing Arctic frost. Unconstitutional and undemocratic abuse of power by the Biden administration that targeted Trump and other Republican senators and organizations, including Charlie Kirk. The school board memo that called parents terrorists rescinded. Record low crime nationwide. Across 89 of nation's largest cities, murders are down nearly 20%. 62 major cities report declining murder rates. Overall violent crime down 12%. That's a massive achievement in 1 year. Law enforcement surges, D.C., Memphis. Record drug seizures. American Second Amendment rights defended. They've sued Washington, D.C. for banning AR-15s and other firearms. Filed amicus briefs supporting plaintiffs suing Hawaii, making a misdemeanor to conceal carry on private property. Win 7. Favorable rulings at the Supreme Court. Attained a record 24 successful rulings at the Supreme Court. 92% win rate. That is huge. And that is honestly one of the biggest wins by Pam Bondi and why she is actually valuable to Trump. Rulings on illegal immigration, nationwide injunction abuse by left judges, ending DEI funding mandates, streamlining federal workforce, restoring executive branch to its rightful place. Huge. Going on offensive against radical left policies, sued Governor Newsom, secured $406 million in deals with multiple major universities. It goes on and on. Election integrity. Prosecute 800% more election fraud cases than last year. That alone will slow down election fraud because people now, if under Trump, know that they'll come for him. They're less likely to do it. Struck decisive blows against the cartels, left-wing terrorist groups, and then the Minnesota Somali fraud, which is now being exposed. And they've already gotten 64 defendants convicted. That's just 1 year. 1 year, guys. Why are we so why are people so hard on them? I get it, but I don't get it. We have to sit back before we look ahead because I'm going to be very positive about where 2026 is going. But I'm setting the table by reminding you by how good 2025 actually was. David says the haters like Fuentes and others couldn't budge an inch and would be completely devoured by the deep state if they were to take Trump's place. 100%. They wouldn't be able to handle it. They wouldn't know how to navigate it. David says, I got my guns taken away for nonviolent felony in California 12 years ago. They didn't come to your house for anything other than take away your guns. That's insane, man. I'm so sorry to hear that. Okay, cultural impact. This is what's happened so far thanks to Trump. Defunded NPR, PBS arts funds, reset monuments to honor greatness, purged DEI gender policies from the government, protected women's sports, forced universities to comply or lose cash, banned bad food dyes, pushed healthy eats, declared the autism emergency, froze Harvard funds, ramped culture wars, saved Christianity worldwide. I love this. I love that Grok put that in there. I mean, Christianity wasn't not safe as far as like, Christianity can thrive even when it's being persecuted, which it is persecuted in more than 50% of countries. But what Trump has done is he's made Christianity culturally relevant again in the West, and he's making it culturally dominant again in the West. By the time Trump leaves office and JD Vance takes over, by the time JD Vance leaves office, I'm predicting right now Christians in America, it'll be back over 70%, maybe even 75%. We're up to 66%, low of 62%, but it's climbing back up. I'm telling you, it's growing again. People are finding God again. They're coming back because they saw how dark it was without him. They saw how gross it was when culture abandoned him. And they don't want that. It was lonely and gross and lost. We're a nation that has the highest anxiety ever, most mental illnesses ever. We're a nation that is addicted to pills because of all this. That's an empty life. And that's what happens when you throw out traditional Christian values. And when you come back to them, you can rebuild a good nation, a strong nation, a nation of strong people, not just a strong economy, but a strong people. Mended race ties without division. I mean, I agree with this, but that would be debated. Boomed free speech on social media, restored holiday joy. Let's look at some data-driven results of these policies. This is just year one. Okay, this is by the end of 2025. This is where we're at. Real GDP growth, 4.3% annualized in Q3 2025. Q4 estimates around 3%. That's massive. Obama back in 2012 or so said, expect not to get over above 2% anymore. It's a new economy, and that's how it's going to be from now on. No, Trump has blown that out of the water. He's shown that by deregulating, tax cuts, bringing back tariffs, infrastructure, our economy can roar again. The GDP, which is a gross domestic product, it doesn't necessarily impact your wages too much, but it is a sign, because once the economy is growing again, eventually wages catch up, better jobs appear. So it's coming. That's the sign of things to come. Unemployment rate still in the 4s, despite getting rid of all the illegals. And also, this is a result of more people coming into the workforce again, especially Americans. Inflation rate down to 2.7%. And that might not be an accurate number, because Trueflation here has their independent measures of inflation, CPI and PCE, below 2%. That's wild. So Trueflation aggregates millions of real price data points. I got to say, knowing what we all know about the government, their numbers, I would trust Trueflation's numbers over the government numbers, but that's just me. Aggregate millions of real price data points from 70 sources to obtain the most accurate daily measure. Excuse me. Our inflation trends have been shown to precede official numbers by at least 45 days. In other words, they're ahead of the curve, and they have inflation at 1.99%. You wonder why Trump wants those interest rates down? Because the inflation battle has been won. Over 605,000 deportations completed by December 25, with total aliens leaving, including self-portations, exceeding 2.5 million. Net negative migration achieved in 2025. 1 year. 1 year is all it took to get... Oh my God, I hate this thing. Sorry, guys. 1 year is all it took to get negative net migration. Incredible. Homicides dropped nearly 20%. We've already talked about that. We've talked about overall crime rate. National average gas price fell below $3 per gallon. And drug overdose deaths have declined substantially. Estimates up to 25% drop. My friends, can we toast to 2025? Here's to 2025 being one of the best years ever for America, because Trump and his team and us who voted for him, who fought for the culture to change, who fought to get things back, who stood up and withstood the psyops, who withstood the cultural degradation. Those of us who refuse to listen to the lies, who refuse to backtrack, who refuse to leave behind God and ditch a champion, a leader we could all get behind, who is persecuted at the highest levels. Cheers to all of us who fought and got a year where an incredible amount of decay, rot, and corruption in our country was overturned in 1 year. That, my friends, deserves a cheers. A toast to that. Unbelievably huge year. And a couple other effects. Because of the Somali stuff going on right now, DHS has just frozen all child care payments to the state of Minnesota, and I believe they're starting to freeze them to the rest of the U.S. until they uncover all this. That is huge. Huge. They're cutting off the payments immediately. Just massive. We have Scott Adams saying our smartest people are now fully engaged in how to stop massive frauds we see everywhere. This is just the end of 2025. See lots of ideas about audit systems, fraud bounty systems, maybe too many ideas. How do we focus it? A fraud czar. AI isn't ready, but governments, this is huge coming from Scott Adams. Government is the problem, not the solution. So people are waking up and wanting to get involved. We have independent journalism. We have people coming up with ideas and how to audit this stuff, expose corruption. Huge. As the citizenship gets more engaged, that's going to expedite things even quicker. And then the last thing that Trump actually really did this past year, we've defeated the neocons pretty much. And they're scrambling. So you have the left is in shambles. The media is a disaster. Nobody trusts it anymore. Nobody listens to it anymore. You have all that collapsing. And then you have the last major enemy that we have as MAGA is the neocons, the establishment Republicans. And they're just out of political power and they're just scrambling, trying to get everything back. So the powers that be that control them are going to use other methods to exert political power. They'll buy those with influence or hurt those with influence they can't control, both directly and indirectly. It's not hard because there's a lot of money over there. So this I say is a good thing, even though this is kind of a cryptic post, but I read it as a very good thing. It means the last big political opponent for us is on their last legs. They're desperate. This stuff doesn't scare me. Them coming out back with their money, doing what they're going to do on behalf of the deep state. We've withstood the attacks from the bigger enemies. This is going to be a whimper. But this kind of stuff is being noticed by more and more people. And remember, I called it out months ago when the PSYOP started with Nick Fuentes stuff. I said it was the neocons. And here it is. More and more people are waking up to it. So all this is happening coming into 2026. So with the help of Grok, I put together, using data, some projections for 2026, what we can expect. Now, I'm going to add my own personal beliefs and personal predictions because, well, I like doing this stuff and I've had a knack for it. And I'm going to tell you what I think is kind of coming in 2026. But here's just the data-driven projections for 2026 based upon where we're already at and where things are moving. GDP growth for the year could be 3.5% to 4%. That is a very good year. 65% chance, according to Grok. We're going to see record tax refunds, $120 to $150 billion total, which will be $1,500 to $2,000 per household on average. 85% chance of this happening. That's a lot of money going into people's pockets. That's stimulus without printing. That's stimulus without direct payments. That's just people getting to keep more of their money. Foreign investment inflows, 1.5 trillion, 55% chance. Unemployment down to the low fours, looks like a 75% chance. Inflation down to the low twos, which is where we're already at based upon what Trueflation, they say a 70% chance of that. The average family take-home pay increase up to $18,000. Grok sees a 60% chance of this. What does that do for the average American family if the take-home pay increase is $18,000? So the average American home brings in about $75,000. That's before taxes. So when it says take-home pay, it's also accounting for tax cuts. So let's say that the actual pay increase is about 10%. Well, imagine 10% more money in your pocket at the end of the year. How much will that do? How much would that help overcome the impacts of inflation over the years? I know not everybody would be fully made whole by that, but a lot of people would. And a lot of people would be doing better, especially when you put into the fact the price cuts that could be coming. Rent decline 15 to 20% nationwide, on top of what's already gone down 15%. Could be 45% chance. Some cities falling, but national forecasts are flat, but deportations could force it. I think it'll happen. Housing prices could decline 10 to 15% in key markets. Low percentage chance, but again, Grok's not accounting for all the deportations. New housing starts, 1.3 million units, 70% chance. Vacancies increase, bidding wars end, 65%. First-time buyers surge up to 60%. All this stuff's possible. All this stuff massively changes. People start getting into homes again. That's increasing their wealth, increasing their value, increasing their connection to community. Big increase, improvement in culture, in people's confidence, in their joy in life, in their wealth, all that stuff. Borders and safety, formal deportations, over 2 million, 50%. That's formal deportations, not including self-deportations. Total exits could get up to 10 million. There's a 40% chance, but it's a chance. 10 million by the end of 2026. Be huge. Net migration could be deeply negative. Fentanyl deaths continue to decline. Violent crime decline. Homicide decline. Stupid, sorry. I can't do these very much with my PC the way it is. It's my mouse, actually. But my PC sucks, too. It's old. Doing my best, guys. Doing my best. And then energy. It says a Ukraine conflict resolution could be by mid-year, 50% chance. Oil price, though, could go down to $50 a gallon at 80% chance, which could get gas to under $2 per gallon by the end of the year. Household energy bills decline 15%, and Western Hemisphere trade growth could be 4%. So, what's all this mean? Well, let's talk about it. 2026, what I think's coming. Just based on the data, which I just showed you guys, I believe prosperity is going to start coming back to America. I think we're going to start seeing what similar to Reagan's 83 boom. Because in 81, Ronald Reagan came in. He oversaw deregulation and tax cuts. It wasn't nearly as much as what Trump did, but it still was a lot for the time. Interest rates were also at like 15%. So Reagan was dealing with a lot of crap. 82 came, the economy still hadn't turned around, got crushed in the midterms. But in 83, all of his policies started really working. Boom time, baby. Massive boom. Trump, this year, 2025, was like Reagan's 81 on steroids. Because not only do you have the tax cuts and the deregulations, which Trump's doing at a much faster rate than Reagan did, he also add the tariffs and the investments coming into the nation. All of that were all in the deportations. Reagan didn't do the deportations either. We're already seeing a lot of results from all of that. Put all of that together, and you have a setup for the time early summer, late spring. We're going to start seeing a big change in the economy. Caveat, I think we're really looking at a major market downturn here in this spring. Actually, winter, because I think it's going to be January, February, March-ish. We're already starting to see a lot of signs. In fact, the Fed just put a bunch has been a bunch of banks have been going to the Fed and collecting money. I think over the last week alone, $70 billion has been going out to banks from the Fed because of a liquidity crisis. That, and then you add like what DJT just did to attack shorts, what's going on with silver. Everything is screaming market instability. With a market downturn, you're going to have a bump to the economy. What Trump's done for Main Street will withstand a lot of that. And I believe this will turn around things pretty quickly. But for a couple months, it's going to set stuff back. So that could push off the main economic boom to the end of the summer. But still, it comes before the midterms. I think by the end of 2026, we're all going to be doing a lot better financially. I think prices will be down, wages will be up, economy will be humming, better jobs will abound, and the market will have stabilized and hopefully even be reformed by then. We could see all that in 2026. That's just economically speaking. Prices. If energy keeps going down, transportation lines keep getting better, all these issues that we've had get fixed, the tariff stuff settles down, the trade stuff starts coming into effect more, we can start seeing lower prices, food, energy, all of it. We could actually see some deflation start by the middle of the year. That's a crazy prediction, but it is possible. Add to that, millions and millions more illegals leaving. That's less demand on our products, less demand especially on housing and services, our roads, our gas, our food. All of it less demand. Things get cheaper. That's capitalism 101. So, factor all that in, things look good. Let's talk about justice. What we've seen the last few days is, I believe, is a sign that things are ramping up. This Minnesota Somali scam is just the beginning. It's getting people fired up. It's getting people motivated to go look into their own states, their own towns. That's spreading. These investigations have happened before, but then they were pushed under the rug or even restarted with government know-how. People are at the point they're not accepting it anymore. They're fed up. They're done. That's important because if you're going to go into doing really intense stuff with people, with what's it called? With big indictments, big arrests, you got to have the people fed up. You got to have the people on your side. I believe we're going to start seeing some major moves in arrests, indictments, grand juries, apprehensions, maybe even court cases, maybe even convictions in 2026. I think it's all going to ramp up. I feel like 2026 is the year. 2025 was a blessing in so many ways, but there was so much to have to be undone and so many new foundations to be laid. I believe 2026 is a year that a lot of people are going to personally begin feeling the change in their own lives. The result of these policies, a result of Trump being in there and getting stuff passed. I think 2026 going to be the year a lot of people wanted 2025 to be on a personal level. And that's exciting. I believe 2026 could be a year of breakthrough and justice in a lot of ways. It's also going to be a year of insanity because we're going to keep seeing these attacks. We're going to keep seeing psyops, although they're losing their power. The Candace Owens thing is the greatest example of that. More and more people are doing their own research and figuring stuff out really early. You know, I lost a lot of viewers for calling out Candace. A lot. You can go to my page and see how my views start going down. I gained a few viewers at first because they like Candace Owens, you know, but by keeping on and disagreeing with them, the positive ones, I lost a lot of viewers. A lot of people ditched on me. YouTube probably stopped pushing my channel as well because YouTube's golden goose for a while was Candace Owens in the political sphere. You just don't mess with that. But, you know, it was worth it because now I'm being validated left and right. And the influencer sphere is having its own reckoning. These reckonings are really good. They're a really good thing to happen. They're clearing up the air. They're exposing the bad actors. They're weakening a lot of them that are going to stick around, but they're going to get weaker. It's exactly what happened to the media, the mainstream media, where people left the mainstream media and they still want to learn. They still want to hear stuff. They still want to listen to news. They still want to hear people they can trust or feel like they can trust their commentary to understand stuff. They want that. Everybody does. That's normal. It's okay. Nothing wrong with it. But that went to a whole nother tier. And that tier of internet influencers who were carrying a lot of that, well, turns out a lot of them are just bought and paid for. They're basically no different than mainstream media. They just have a little more freedom in how they deliver their product. Well, that's being exposed now. And so that system is starting to have a breakup, which is a good thing because it means that people are going to be even more skeptical. They're going to look harder for real voices. So, and maybe do their own research more. That's ultimately a good thing. We're going to see the fruits of that in 2026 because a lot of this fight just happened. I think we're going to see the Democrats try to push new leadership. It's not going to stick. They're going to end up 2028 with a terrible group of people running. Some of them might be popular in some aspects, but they're all going to be weak overall. So, yeah, I spent a lot of time the last week, meditating and thinking about this because I think every year is important at the end of the year to reflect, plan, hope, dream, believe, and focus for the incoming year. And I'm very excited. I really am. But with that excitement, there's also a little apprehension, and it's because I know that there's going to be what's the word I'm looking for? There's going to be a counter to it, or at least attempts. And so I wouldn't be surprised if we see more attempts, like assassination attempts, but I don't know if they'll work. I think the Trump Justice Department, as I just showed you guys, is really, really looking into this stuff now and trying to get it ahead of time. They know where to look on the Discord servers, and they know where a lot of these mentally ill people hang out, the SSRI, MK Ultra types. And so I think we're going to have a better chance at avoiding it, but it doesn't mean it's not going to be tried. There's going to be attempts to get us into World War again. And they're going to attempt to crash the economy because they know that by the time of the midterms, if the economy is roaring, the Republicans will defy everybody's expectations and get back in. So the lots of stuff to look look to. So we're going to need to keep praying. We're going to need to keep stay on top of it. The next thing I want to talk about, and this isn't so much a prediction, it's just an acknowledgement of what I'm seeing. The hardcore, because this is actually a reflection of how successful Trump's been, but people are starting to get tired of the politics every day, every hour. Whereas it was so huge in 2024 and the first half of 2025, because so much was happening and so much was changing and there was so much excitement in the air. But we're starting to actually get back into a little bit of normalcy, which is very healthy as a society, where people can start focusing on other things and enjoying their lives again. Two things on this. A, it's good, but we also can't ever go back so far we don't pay attention at all anymore. And B, I want to be a part of that. And so my channel in 2026, I always tell you guys, politics is downstream of culture. So I'm going to keep on with the political stuff. That's not going to change. However, I am going to broaden. I think it's going to be time to cover other things again and broaden out. And that means markets and even some pop culture stuff time to time, because culture is ultimately how we win the country back. And I've been doing nothing but politics now for a year and a half. And I can just tell that the hunger for it isn't the same as it was, and that's okay. And I've also noticed that myself, I've been burning down towards the end of 2025. It was starting to weigh too much on me. It was starting to get harder every night to show up. And that's not me. So because of that, I think 2026 is also going to be a fresh beginning for this show. I'm going to mix up stuff, have some more fun stuff sometimes, have some lighter content, but it's all still going to be under the banner of hope, moving culture forward, moving our country forward, and focusing on exposing what's wrong, exposing lies, exposing psyops, but also focusing on how we can make a difference going forward. So all that is coming this next year. And I'm honestly excited about it, because I'm somebody who actually, I like to have a lot of fun. There's been a very serious channel for a while now. And it had to be because of the situation we were in with the election and the new incoming administration. But again, culture has to heal in order for a nation to heal. And so I love, films. I love sports. And so there's certain things that I'll just have opinions on and weigh in on that won't always be so Trump specific. And then there's also a couple other changes I'm looking at making that will be better for members and just a little bit different for everybody else. So, but also to preserve my energy and make sure I can deliver better content. So all that looking ahead, but, anyways, let me check in. It's been a while since I checked the chat, but, anyways, let me know what you guys think about 2025, about what you think 2026, what you're feeling, what you're sensing, what you're seeing. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you want to throw those in the comments, and anything else, just anything else. We have 5 minutes till midnight here. So I might find a stream to watch the ball drop that we could play in the background as I read the chat with you guys. But yeah, I'll just have the AP stream going in the background here. I don't need sound. I don't want to. I don't need the chat either. Who needs a chat? There it is. Waiting for that big ball to fall. Oh, there we go. All right. Leave that up there. All right, let's see here. Tax strike movement. What's that, Krypton? I haven't heard much on a tax strike movement. D6, do I own self be true to hell with Candace Owens, those who left because I challenged her? Thank you, sir. Yeah, you're right. I do sleep peacefully, and I appreciate that. Because I always tell what I believe. David, if I play Freebird 11:55:05, the solo will kick in at 12 midnight. Yeah, if I played Freebird, YouTube would have a reason to cut my stream, which they've done many times, so I don't want to risk it, but that's awesome. William Kivamaki, considering stop paying taxes until everything's fixed, work too hard for my money to have it stolen and given away. Man, no joke. I mean, there's a crazy post going around that says like it might be $1.5 trillion of fraud that the U.S. government's been paying out. And if that's true, it's an estimate. But if that's true, then something like if they cut that fraud, then like anybody making up to $200,000 a year wouldn't have to pay any taxes at all to fund our government without debt. Isn't that crazy? Vince Felice says, I feel the exact same way. You need to pull back. Tired of disappointment from rhinos. Yeah, I mean, again, Vince, I think you missed the beginning of the stream. I get the disappointment from rhinos. I do. The Congress is very disappointing. What I don't get is the disappointment with Trump and the administration the first term. And I spent most of the first hour of this stream going through the accomplishments of 2025, and they are substantial. So it's just a good reminder to remember how much we're winning and how much we've already won. And again, just know, like, there's a post I was sharing that I'm not going to skip to now because I want to see the ball drop, but just the idea that, if we pray for God to save our nation, then he saves it. Don't be mad it wasn't the way you wanted it to be saved, and that's something we all got to keep remembering. Nick Majors, 26 going to be great. You have 3 hours. Where are you at? Are you in Cali? Anybody else sharing a victory drink? That's talking about 2026. So after this weekend, I'm giving up alcohol for a long season, and I need to lose some weight. So that's one of my resolutions. This man, hopefully by this time next year, these cheeks won't be so chubby. Let me just put it that way. That's one of my resolutions. And I'd love to know if any of the members want to maybe do an accountability where we all try to do that together, because I think it'd be good. You're right. Yeah, Vince says none of this fraud would have been exposed without Trump. 100%, man. Especially not the way it's being exposed. There might have been like a couple people on X or something, but it definitely would not have reached the heights it has and getting the people so infuriated about it, which could lead to real changes. So absolutely correct. D6, you gave up alcohol 20 years ago. That's awesome. I totally respect it. And I have no good reason to say anybody shouldn't, but I gotta say that I don't love getting drunk or anything. I just love the taste. I do, especially of beer. But I don't know. I just find it something in life that I enjoy, and don't really have anything. I haven't really had any negative experiences or anything, but I've never abused it. So Mike says I need to lose weight. I quit drinking 17 years ago. Good for you guys. Well, Mike, we can find out another way to do it. It's not the only thing I'm going to do. Here we go, guys. Ushering in. Good for you, C-Rob. Man, lots of you guys gave it up. Good for you. Proud of you guys. Takes incredible self-will, at least at first. And then I know it gets easier, just like every other thing. Sober 38 years, Linda. Good job. That's amazing. Well, don't look down on me because I'm enjoying my whiskey. Okay, guys? Don't look down on me. Just, I celebrate you guys. Alice lost 30 pounds in 3 months. That's awesome. All right. Happy New Year. 2026 is here. Woo! At least on the East Coast. They always got to show the gay guys. I'm sorry. I guess I don't. I just can never. Guys kissing is just always going to be gross. I'm sorry. Sorry. I don't, it doesn't matter where you stand on the issue. I don't really care. I have gay friends, but I'm sorry. Two dudes kissing is just never an attractive sight. It just isn't. I don't care. I just don't. It's gross. Give up sugar and gluten. Yeah, sugar would be huge. Johnny says, giving up alcohol 13 years ago, best decision I ever made. That's awesome. Christina, I have a cold beer a couple times a year, and then I tell my family it's Satan's juice. That's hilarious, Christina. Love it. That's great. 33 years. That's incredible. Wow. Oh, D6. I know. I'm messing with you. Happy New Year, guys. We did it. We did it. Man, can you believe? It's crazy to think we're in 2026. I remember in 2000 thinking that is New Year's an overrated holiday. Okay, I'll put that poll up for you, Vince. That's a funny one. Is New Year's an overrated holiday?
Hold the line. Stay with me.
Oh,
Brothers,
there goes my.
what we do in life echoes in eternity.
Strength and honor. Strength.
Oh, that's what happened. Whoops. Big a deal you make of it. But I ultimately don't think New Year's is overrated because I don't know. I personally find great value in taking the time to reflect on the last year and look ahead. But I think it depends on what you do for it or how you look at it. Okay, did that work? Oh, it's not letting me post a poll. Hold on a second. It obviously disagrees with me. Let's see. Wow, it's not allowing polls on my stream for some reason. How? That's weird. Oh, now it's working. Oh, okay, good. Okay, there it is. All right. Let's see here. It's up there with watching old people French kiss. Yeah, real fun stuff there. Cold time. Oh my God. Oh, Christina, thank you for the $4 donation. I appreciate it. Super chat. Love it. I appreciate it. Taya says, love to see all the sobriety here. 4 years for me. First time in chat. Love the show. Thank you, Taya. I appreciate you. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Great to have you. This is a slower night, but thanks so much. It's great to hear that. You know, I gotta say, guys, I'm so blessed. I cannot tell you guys how blessed I am by my viewers, because, you know, I am not a big show, and I don't know if I ever will be, but I've had so many compliments from so many of you guys. I mean, just stuff that blows my mind. I'm not gonna say what some people have said to me, because it's some of the nice things people have said to me. Just are like unbelievable compliments, and but so many of you guys come and watch me, and have been watching now for 2+, 3+ years. It's just an honor. It really is. So thank you guys. You guys mean a lot. And I love when you guys jump in the chat. It really means because I love talking to you guys. So if you guys are just coming on, welcome. Happy New Year's. I been doing the show for about an hour and a half now. If you missed the talk earlier, we're kind of in the afterglow now. Now we're hanging out, taking questions, comments, making observations on the New Year's Eve broadcast. But I'm listening to fireworks outside. But yeah, that's where we're at. So if you want the harder going part of the show, the more in-depth part of the show, just rewind to the beginning if you just got here. Already covered more of that. I will make a couple other predictions. We should have some fun with predictions. So I'll ask the crowd here. What's some fun stuff to try to predict for the new year? You know, in the past, you would do like what movie's going to win Best Picture, but now nobody cares about the new movies out because most of them suck. But we could do Super Bowl, but I don't know. That might cause some fights. Nick says, I don't drink very much, but I like it. That's kind of where I'm at. D6 says, it's a day when everybody can have hope together. Well, so far we're at 57% of people say New Year's is overrated, which is more than I expected, honestly. What do I think Trump's surprise is? What surprise are you asking about? William says, sorry, left to toast with wifey. He's back. Oh, you left your wife for me? Well, thanks, man. Nell says New Year's Eve's massively overrated. That's rough. Big hater over there. Northcuts, no longer drink often. If I do, I use Z-Biotics. The innovative approach is very effective. Feels like an extra liver for about 16 hours. Really? I've never even heard of the Z-Biotics. I'll have to look into that. Tim Waltz will claim he's Somalian. Jim Beam, I like it. Yeah, I mean, I'm having I splurged for Christmas this year and got myself a bottle of Basil Hayden, which is my favorite bourbon. Almost never get it, but splurged this year and just I'm enjoying it. This is the last of it. Good. Probably won't buy another bottle for a couple years, but it's good stuff. Happy New Year, Moody. Good to see you. Yeah, so Vince predicts market crash. I got to tell you, BAM's model is super, super bearish on the markets this next couple months. And it's been bearish the last couple months as well, but he's added the addendum to that that they're going to try to prop it up to make it to the end of the year. Okay, so yeah, it's interesting. If they've been propping it up and waiting for the new year, I could see it. I could see the crash finally coming. And if it does, I just prepare yourselves because it's going to be fast and furious stuff that's going to happen. We could see stocks popping off like crazy. Short squeezes left and right, banks collapsing, crazy panic in the media. So yeah, get ready. Anything's possible with that. And I could see it for sure, Vince. I agree with you. So be positioned. We might finally see what we've been waiting for. Especially when you add in the fact that I think the globalist deep state, they want it to crash. They want to kill Trump's economy. And that's be one of the ways they do it. Trump said he was going to tell us something after New Year's Eve. Really? How did I miss that? I guess I haven't been watching as much the last couple days. I've been kind of doing some other stuff. Does anybody own physical silver? Just Mike asks. Great question. Anybody out there own physical silver? I got a question. Who's going to win this year's Super Bowl, football fans? I know we got a few. Vince has got the Bears. Shogun, if he's still here, he's got the Seahawks. I'm not gonna be a homer. I think it's Josh Allen's year. I think the Bills are going to get hot, and the Bills are going to win the Super Bowl. I do. I really do. And that's with my team potentially being the 1 seed if we win on Saturday. So, but Josh Allen's due. And so I'd love to see them win. If it's not the Niners, I'd love to see the Bills win. I think Josh Allen, he deserves a Super Bowl because he's definitely one of the best quarterbacks I've ever seen play. It's finally Bills time. This is D6. Yeah. Lots of people saying they own silver. Dave, Kim Wiley. Vince says, I want the Bears, but I think San Francisco with home field advantage. Really? So, Vince, I love that thought. Of course I do. But I don't know. We got to beat the Seahawks first before I can even think about that. This entire year has been just like a gift from God, because I thought I was going to be happy with us just squeaking into the playoffs this year. And now we could. So Q Alert says I'll win by not watching. Loser mentality there, Q. Yeah, I think, I think Nick says it's good to enjoy a good spirit every once in a while. I think it depends, I think some people's lives are massively improved by completely quitting drinking for a variety of reasons. And then I think other people find their lives are better with a little moderation. The one thing I think everybody can agree on is nobody's better off drinking all the time. So there's just no argument there anymore. Packers got Diggs. Yeah, I don't think he'll make a difference, though. There's a reason the Cowboys let him go. Scott says, I have some physical silver, down almost 20% from his latest high. Yeah, so there's, again, going back to Bam, he's warning on Twitter that he could see silver settling down in the 60s again and not having another push-up for a while. So we'll see. The Saints win the NFC South next year. I think with show, they really could, yeah. Sam Darnold folds like a cheap suit and became. Yeah. Anna, how are you? Any news about Finger? No new news. I know from when I talked to Martin a couple months ago, he was very excited about 2026. So I think they're waiting on whatever they want to do or release until the new year. So we'll see what happens. D6, if you could drink moderately, you drink all the time. Truer words spoken by many people out there. Q says, Happy New Year. Be sure to use gay and retard more this year. It has been happening. In my household, calling stuff gay and retarded is fully back. I'm very proud as a father. It's back in our household, just like the 90s. My kids are using it. Even their friends are using it. The one word that hasn't come back yet, and it might just take a little bit more time, is calling friends faggot just for being idiots. We got to bring that back too. We do. We got to take it back. But these things take time sometimes, sir. Brett has gold, silver, and crack. Hey, Brett, I bet your crack supply went up after that last Rams loss, huh? After you guys lost the 1 seed the last couple of weeks. That I have a feeling that that really encouraged you to up your crack supply. Brett always coming in with a banger. I love it. Bye, guys. Happy New Year. Is that Seacrest still? Is he still doing this? Oh, well. I don't really care that much. Why the Ukrainian colors of the ball drop? A good question. I mean, you know why. This is Mamdani town now, guys. This is Communist Central. Commie Central USA, New York City. Mamdani town. So that makes sense why there's. Look at this terrible font. Why would you? I mean, oh my God. I can't believe we haven't mentioned it all night, but you know that, guys, next year, I mean, actually now, 250 years. I mean, well, I guess July 4th. 250 years. America, happy birthday. It's beautiful. That's exciting. Yet another year why I think makes sense why a lot of good stuff could happen. If Trump pulls it off and we get another like World Fair or a like a, you know, by what would you call, what's 250 years? How would you say that? It's not bicentennial, that's 200. So I don't know, whatever it is. But if they pull off some giant U.S. fair, like they were talking about in Iowa, some of us should all meet up over there. NFL's controlled by Vegas, says William. You know, I totally disagree with you. I got to say this. Pedro is one of the smartest guys I know on this kind of stuff, betting and markets. And he said it the best I've ever heard it said. He said the NFL's rigged, but it's not fixed. And what he means by that is that we all know it. We've seen the games. Obviously, like they sway games here and there. They try to push a certain direction, but ultimately the players are still playing the game. And a team can overcome the rigging. It's hard, but they can overcome it. And so it's not like they go into the year. It's not wrestling where they determine the winner at the beginning of the year. That's what he means by that. And I think that's the best way to describe it. Brett's still not worried about it. Okay. Well, good, Brett. I'm happy for you. Are you worried about Stafford starting to throw picks like Darnold? Seacrest is a tool. He is the biggest tool. Quincentennial. Okay, I like that. Q says, if I say faggot, my wife loses it. Like I hit the world with the most foul speech ever spoken. Yeah. More work to be done there. Q, you just got to tell her that you're about to smoke something. You're pretending to be a Brit, and then you can get away with it real easy. I'll just smoke a faggot, you know. So that's the way to go with that to make sure the wife's not too angry. But it looks like I lost Shogun. He was going to come on and do the attack, the Seahawks attack and break it down for us, but he left. Krypton, let's go Pats. Oh man, you know, you guys are, Drake May is looking scary. I don't think your team's ready. I don't think they're ready for a deep playoff run. I mean, if they get the bye, they might make the championship game. I don't think they're ready for the Super Bowl. I can't think of a team as young and inexperienced as the Pats, especially at the key positions, that's ever won the Super Bowl. So I think you guys are at least a year out. But we'll see. I mean, strange things happen in sports. But that's one of those things I always kind of rely on, is that inexperience usually doesn't go deep in the playoffs. And as far as I know, it never won a Super Bowl. A team that doesn't have playoff experience. Could be wrong though. Maybe one of you older gents could correct me on that. Anyways, well guys, happy New Year. I'm gonna call tonight. It's been almost 2-hour stream. If you missed the beginning, we're winning so much. 2025, it was awesome, better than expected, even though some disappointment, but overall, really, if we look at it, just better than expected. 2026, I think, is going to be incredible. It's going to be absolutely incredible. So, Brett's found important information on Twitter. Play from the ad council. All right, Brett, I'll go look at that. Do you share something? Did you share it with me? I'll go look at that. Niners Pats Super Bowl. That'd be interesting. If the Niners make the Super Bowl, if we're rolling that much and we're playing at home, I think the only team I'm scared of would be a team like the Texans with that defense, or the Bills with Josh Allen. Other than that, I think we can beat everybody else in the AFC. But in the NFC, I'm scared of the Rams. They scare me more than anybody else. This McVay and Stafford, man. Actually, I'm not scared of McVay. Shanahan owns McVay for the most part. Whenever we have equal teams, we always beat you guys. But but Stafford's scary. Stafford's scary against our defense right now without Bosa and Warner. Anyways, love you guys. Have a great night. Let's please like and subscribe before you leave. Appreciate that. If you want to join, become a member for 2026, support the channel. Get in the description. Click that link. Get a free month of Patreon. If you like it, you can hang out for $5, $5 a month. That's it. And get a part of the become a part of the Discord, members lives, all that fun stuff. Oh, from SNL. Okay. I definitely gotta look at this now. So yeah, that bad back thing didn't pan out. Anyways, let's pray. We gotta pray because 2026 is here, and I think it'd be bad form to not usher in the new year with a prayer. So, Heavenly Father, thank you for today. Father, thank you so much for 2025. Thank you for saving our country, getting us back on track, and for all the incredible progress we made in 1 year. The most progress ever made in a single year by a president. It's just incredible what we're witnessing. I thank you so much for President Trump's boldness and his team. Their love for America and their willingness to do it against all odds, against hate from death threats and the media and everything, just the craziness they experience. I can't imagine. So I thank you for that. I pray for protection over them, Lord, this whole year and forward, that they would all finish out their term safe. I pray for America this year, that this would be a year where we start healing culturally, as well as and financially, Lord, and God, that more and more justice would come from the corruption being exposed right now, in Jesus' name. And just God, pray for wisdom for our leaders and boldness as well, that it just overflows more than ever. And Father, I pray for everybody on the stream watching, Lord, that you would bless them more than ever before. I pray that 2026 would be their best year ever, financially, relationally, health, physically, God, and all the things. And I know that won't happen for every single person, Lord, but I believe it can happen for most. So I just, I pray that over everybody, Lord, and that you would just be with them, give them wisdom and bless them. I pray that 2026 can be a year of blessing as the 250th year of our nation, a year of blessing, a year of new beginnings, better beginnings, and a year of breakthrough and restoration for everybody who has lost so much or been struggling just to survive for a long time, that this would be the year it all changes. And I just ask that in Jesus' name. Amen. All right. Love you guys. God bless you. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your night. And I will see you guys all very soon. I don't know if I'll be on tomorrow. I might be. We'll see. Pay attention. God